Hello and welcome to the Tyre Straights Podcast, one of the motorsports podcasts of all time that you can listen to on the internet. How are you doing today, Scobbert? How's it going? We're your lovely hosts.
I'm a little bit tired. It's been a long day.
Yeah,
but aside
it's
from
been
that,
a long day for both of us.
yes. Aside from that, I'm in good spirits. Thank you for the introduction.
That's all right. You're welcome. It's my turn to do it this week, and I don't know. That's fine.
You can tell that this is one of the episodes we've got more faith in.
Yeah, definitely. Completely derailed straight from the beginning. It's the heat. It's getting to me. For some reason, my room is generating temperatures above boiling point. I think I'm turning into steam at the.
Oh, so it's like actually just steam is just coming off of you as you slowly shrivel up like a prune.
Oh, grim. But no, today we are going to be talking in preparation for the Monaco Grand Prix next week. We are going to be talking about its history this week. Sorry, next week is when we're doing the episode on it, but
yes,
this week upcoming in the weekend, we're going to be talking about the history, diving into a bit of that, and discussing some of the top moments, anything we think we could change or might be worth changing to improve it. And yeah, that's about it. If you like this episode, make sure to follow us on other socials like our Instagram. Do plenty of stuff over there. We've also got Spotify or YouTube, whichever you're listening to, and we've got the Twitter account as well, I think.
Yes,
perfect.
We use the Twitter account very, very regularly.
Very regularly. We need to use it more.
No, we really only use the Instagram at the moment. Instagram and YouTube are really where we're at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, let's get started with the general F1 news like we do in every episode.
Let's get right into the news.
That's a throwback and a half. I can't heard that.
Sorry, it literally came to me in that moment.
No, it's fine. And today, first is talking about this Monaco Grand Prix is going to be McLaren's 1000th F1 race start, which is interesting. They've done a special livery for it, and I'd like to hear, Scott, what are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts?
They've done a special livery for it.
Oh, have you not seen?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they've done a special livery.
You keep talking, I'll look at this up. I've not seen a single thing.
Have a quick look. Oh, this is going faultlessly this episode.
Fucking hell.
But so essentially they've done a new livery. It's kind of just orange and black, and I don't actually like it that much. I think it is very boring.
It's barely different.
It's barely different to the standard livery, and kind of doesn't scream anything about McLaren's history.
At least their last few were actually kind of special. This one is just they've just done the 2024 car kind of thing of just leave it mostly blank and just put some stickers on it.
Do you remember when, I think it was for like Singapore or something like that, they did like the McLaren Shadow livery. It just kind of looks like that.
Yeah, vaguely, but not as nice.
Yeah, but nowhere near as like clean. It just kind of looks tiger striped and weird.
Yeah, it looks vaguely tiger striped, but also the sponsors are in white and dotted around weirdly. It all looks a bit messy, and it's all I don't like it.
I know, it's just an odd choice, and I was expecting something that's harkening back to like their history of any kind. Maybe go for red,
or just just do like the whole car in papaya, like the the original simple McLaren racing livery.
Yeah, a purely papaya car would be pretty good. I was thinking if they wanted to harken back to like some of the glory days, then going for a white and orange.
Yeah, just sub out the Marlboro red for the orange, or indeed the same with the West livery, or like the Chrome livery, like they've done before. They've proved to us they can do it.
They've done these things before. Like, they've proved they can harken back to old livery, so why they aren't doing it for an actual milestone instead of some random Grand Prix is just a bit bizarre to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just no, I don't like it. I have nothing else to say. Like, I didn't even know they did one, because I saw the post about their 1000th Grand Prix. I didn't even notice that there was a different, like, I'd already liked the post, so it's clear I've already seen it, but, like, I didn't even notice anything different about the car in it.
Yeah. what I do appreciate is there is like a lack of other colours. It does make it look a bit sleek. I kind of like that it is just orange and black. If it wasn't a special livery, like if that was the standard livery, I think that would look awesome. But it's the fact that this is meant to be some big celebratory milestone historical thing, and it just kind of looks very standard McLaren livery.
But uglier.
Yeah, but a little worse.
Right. So, yeah.
But that's it. The only other thing
Let
I've
us
got
not
to say...
lament that any longer.
Yeah, but only other thing I've got to say news-wise, it's not Formula One, but it is tangentially F1 Academy related. That being brief congratulations to Abby Pulling for winning her first GB3 race. And actually, I believe she is the only female driver to have ever won a GB3 race.
Yes, I do believe that is the case. Yeah. Makes it even more of a momentous occasion.
Indeed, it's very good, very impressive, brilliant job.
It's very good, because obviously last week as well, I spoke about Catherine Legg attempting the double in the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. And then Abby Pulling winning her first GB3 race. We've had some great news recently for women in motorsports, and that is obviously, huge. And with other people, like, we've got Dorian Penn as well, like, doing really well. Is that how I pronounce it? I swear that's how you pronounce it.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
I've always just said Pin, but I know that Pin is
it's like
the
Pin,
incorrect
Pen, Pan, like, I don't know specifically, but yeah. Obviously other, upcoming female racing drivers who are really proving themselves to be something to keep an eye on. Like I'm excited for that. Yeah,
it's definitely things are moving on, and it's not like there haven't been fantastic like female racing drivers like Michelle Mouton.
I was gonna say Michelle Mouton. We were having this conversation in the pub, weren't we?
Yeah.
I remember having this conversation with you last time you were here.
Yeah. God, we are being so good at derailing things this episode.
Yes, I love talking about Michelle Mouton in the episode about the Monaco Grand Prix.
I love talking about a rally driver.
Yes.
All right, now we should probably get moving on to the actual main part of the episode, which is
Daddy.
Just a brief. Don't say that.
Oh, mate.
A brief view back into the a short view back to the past of the history of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Don't say that.
And how it's come through from its origin. So essentially, I'm gonna start off by just doing a little bit of the
exposition dump,
the history generally, and then we'll move on to if there's any bit you want to cut in for, then absolutely go for it.
Oh, don't tempt me.
Just if you interrupt me in literally every sentence to say some bullshit, then I'm going to be a little bit more miffed. All right. Essentially, Monaco Grand Prix.
Actually, no, go on.
The Monaco Grand Prix predates the F1 World Championship. It started originally as a standalone event in the streets of Monaco in 1929. Essentially, the Automobile Club de Monaco, or the ACM, who had already been running the rally Monte Carlo, which started in 1911, they decided that they wanted a more like traditional kind of Grand Prix race, with sports cars and the single seaters and stuff like that, and so sorted out the track around the streets of Monaco. It was mainly backed by the Prince at the time, Prince Louis II, along with the head of the ACM at the time, the name escapes me for the life of me, but I should pull it up in a sec, and had the backing of a fellow countryman who was also a racing driver, being Louis Chiron. And together they all formed this race around the streets in the harbour of Monaco. And the initial race in 1929 ended up being won by William Grover Williams and his factory-backed Bugatti Type 35B. And which it started a line of races around the circuit, which was well loved. It became, I believe, one of the first consistent street tracks around the world. But I could be wrong on that.
No, I do believe you are correct.
I believe that's how it is.
Not exactly extensive knowledge.
No, that's very fair. And the races throughout the the back end of the 20s and the early 30s all went pretty well. With obviously there have been some crashes and inconsistencies with regulations in which cars start and whatnot, because at the time there was no centralized rule set for most of this stuff, and it ended up running all the way up until 1937, at which point there was then 1938, where it was planned to go ahead. However, things had started changing in the world of finance when it came to the race. The racers that had now been gaining a name by winning the race and showing up were now demanding appearance money, which was upwards of £500 at the time, which is roughly 29k in today's money, according to inflation. So that's just 29,000 to show up to the race, even if they break down on the first lap. And with the lack of profits for the organisers and lack of profits being brought in by sponsors, it meant that they took the decision to cancel the race in 1938. The only man to win from the country at the time, Louis Chiron, he did win in 1931 and has had several podiums since, but he has been one of only two of the Monegasque countrymen to win the actual Grand Prix, which was a very good back end they from the guy who supported the race being set up and got it all sorted, ended up taking the win. However, obviously, while it was cancelled in 38, you then run into the problem of something quite big and more important and very costly and
what's that?
Not quite so safe for people happened in 1939, and World War II caused the race to go completely out of the way for the following 6 years. Well, because World War II. I don't know. I think there's a multitude of reasons why it was smart not to run a race.
Can you go through all of them?
I can go to name of money and not friction between, considering the majority of the drivers in this race were French and German. Like,
why would that be a problem?
It was the French, the Germans, and the Italians and the Brits were like some of the main people who raced at the Monaco Grand Prix at the time.
Why would that cause problems?
Differing sides. Regardless, this isn't a history lesson on World War II. And after the war finished, motorsport was brought back in 1945 at the back end, but the Monaco Grand Prix stayed gone until 1948, where it was brought back after 2 years of financial issues post-war. And the race was won by Nino Farina, who would end up being quite a... Nino Farina.
I didn't hear the N. It just sounded like you said Nino Farina.
No, Nino Farina. No, and
Giuseppe Nino Farina.
It was Nino Farina. Yeah.
Yes. The OG.
And the race was meant to be held the following year, but was cancelled due to the death of the Monegasque prince, being Louis II.
Why?
And at that point,
it
moved on to the actual championship. I don't know why he died. I can't tell you that one. You'll have to Google it.
Oh, shit.
You have to look into that yourself, I'm afraid. Right. Obviously, if you have been around F1 any amount, you should know that 1950 was the first ever F1 championship.
Why?
And the Monaco Grand Prix officially became part of the initial calendar for the championship.
Sleep deprivation is really making this easy.
To be won by Juan Manuel Fangio. However, it did have an incredibly rough start in the championship. You let me tell the fucking story or not? But no, its start in the championship was a rough one, as in 51 the race was again cancelled due to financial reasons. 1952, the race, while part of the F1 championship, was a non-championship scoring round, and it was a sports car race. rather than like standard Formula One regulation cars, due to the inconsistencies in the regulations at the time and things not being sorted out, which also led to the cancellation of the 53 and 54 Grand Prix. For it to return in 1955. And since then, besides 1 year's cancellation in 2020 for COVID, it's been a permanent fixture on the F1 calendar. The 60s brought about, obviously, it had its current layout, which led to the 5 wins by Graham Hill.
Can you believe this geeker put Jim Clark before we cut the cut?
Yeah, no, I did have Jim Clark written there initially. It was fucked up.
We've just got like a 5-minute tangent about how we had to cut this all out.
Yeah. I realised I wrote down the wrong fucking name. I've done this. This whole write-up has been so chaotic. All right, regardless. But the 5 wins throughout the years got him the nickname of Mr. Monaco. And this layout had become pretty legendary already. But during the 70s, growing safety concerns throughout the entirety of the sport, quite often led by Jackie Stewart, led to the changing of the circuit layout throughout the years, with them adding the swimming pool section of it, at the back end of the tunnel, the chicanes there, and then the reprofiling of Sandevot Corner, and then adding the chicane right before the pit straight at the start of the lap. It all in the name of safety, but it's created this very iconic circuit that has remained pretty much unchanged since then, and continues to be iconic to this day. The 80s and 90s led to a incredibly fierce rivalry on the streets between Prost and Senna, with them going back and forth throughout the entirety of, I believe it was 80... It was until 93, it would have been from 84 till 93?
84 was Senna's first season, yeah.
Yeah, so it would have, I'm pretty sure it was from 84 to 93, at which point they'd racked up between the two of them a total of 10 wins, with Senna having 6 wins, the most of any driver on the circuit. And absolutely staking his name as the best person around the track, though obviously some still debate Graham Hill as the king of Monaco.
Okay.
Since then, the track has come under flack as of late, as the cars have gotten more modern, they've gotten larger, they've gotten faster, and the circuit is kind of not updated in layout or design or corner profiling. It has stayed the same. And there's more and more criticism about this poor racing spectacle, and you win Monaco on the Saturday, and you can't overtake, and all these different things. But it still remains a consistent fixture on the calendar due to its heritage and iconicism. And that is a very brief, very scuffed, and very filled from Scott history of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yes, completely seamless.
Yes,
and,
very.
Just piggybacking off of that, I wanted to sort of discuss some of the greatest Monaco moments that we've ever seen in Formula One. Of course, there's plenty to choose from. There is, of course, Senna and Graham Hill both having their incredible runs of form on this track. Or, of course, you can mention more chaotic moments like the 1955 Monaco Grand Prix when Alberto Ascari took a dip in the harbour. But I just wanted to start with the 1992 Monaco Grand Prix. This was one of Senna's incredible 6 wins, and I think his best, because this gave him his 5th win at the track and his 4th in a row in the Principality. And what made it so incredible was that he completed the entire race on a single set of tyres, which led to some of his best defensive driving ever in the closing stages of the race, when Nigel Mansell, in his superior Williams, who had pitted for fresh tyres, chased him down and caught right up to his arse. And Senna would manage to hold on to his lead in spite of the tyres making him feel like he was quote-unquote driving on ice, with commentator James Hunt even calling his tyres very clapped out. And he would take that win. like I say, probably the most spectacular Monaco win of the 6 that he 6 notches on his belt. So, with that in mind, that's one of the more incredible sort of Monaco Grand Prix. But then I would like to divert us to one of the more chaotic, with the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix, which some of you may have already heard about before, but if you haven't, this is possibly... I've written one of the most chaotic F1 races, but it's possibly the most chaotic race in Formula One history, which would see only the 3 podium finishers actually finish the race at all. Olivier Panis would gain his first and only F1 victory, as well as scoring Ligier, their last before they left the sport at the end of the season. And this sort of crazy result was thanks pretty much entirely to the seriously wet conditions, where almost all drivers to start the race suffered retirements, where you had drivers such as Martin Brundle, Jos Verstappen, Michael Schumacher, and Rubens Barrichello, all having sort of spin-offs into the barrier, aquaplaning, several of these kind of things, these sort of mistakes that cost them their race, causing themselves to DNF, while even the ones that managed to keep it out of the barrier, like Damon Hill and Jean Alesi, would end up with mechanical issues and would also DNF, in spite of the fact that the 2 aforementioned drivers had been competing for the lead for a lot of the race. And to this day, no other F1 race in history has come close to beating the record that was set here of the fewest number of cars to complete an F1 race. So that's definitely a little one of those sort of less known stories to look into if you're a fan of the sport. And I think definitely one of the crazier moments that Monaco has ever produced. And then just a couple quick ones as well. Of course, there is the Charles Leclerc saga with Monaco, where there was, until recently, this sort of looming Monaco curse that sort of lingered over him. And of course, it kind of made it was most apparent in the 2022 Monaco Grand Prix, where Leclerc had put it on pole and was leading the race. He was on form, he was set to win. And then, guess who entered the chat? Ferrari strategy. And unfortunately, he would lose 3 positions in the pits after a very poorly timed pit stop, which he would then not recover, with Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, and Max Verstappen finishing on the podium ahead of him and knocking him out of that top 3 contention, which was tragic. And obviously just reinforced the Monaco curse. 2023, he could not avenge this either. But then 2024 Monaco Grand Prix, all I've written for this one is holy shit, because quite rightly, this was the year in which the Monaco curse was finally broken. If you've been a fan for a few years now, or for several, even if you're a very new fan, you probably have heard this commentary. What was said. But like everything that went into this, just an incredibly special race, and of course, as a Ferrari fan, one of the big ones for me recently. Just absolutely brilliant. And Charles Leclerc would finally win that fabled race. And then, just to end these little moments with a little bit of a more light-hearted one, we have the 2006 Monaco Grand Prix, where Kimi Räikkönen would retire from the race on lap 51 with a mechanical issue. And instead of walking back to the paddock, he walked right past it, said fuck it, and boarded a dinghy to head to his yacht, on which he would spend the remainder of the race session, with the TV cameras actually picking him up on his yacht, watching the race and drinking at one point. So that was sort of one of the more comedic moments, and definitely one that you'll find on any good Kimi Räikkönen highlights. But yes, those are a few of my picks of Monaco's best moments in brief. And before we get into anything else this episode, we wanted to just discuss some of the possible changes and improvements to Monaco. And with this in mind, we actually put a question up on our Instagram story, asking for your input on what you would change. And we had 2 responses, count them. So the first of which was, and I quote, a slight change of location to the Nürburgring GP track. And that comes from George. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's not a bad shout, considering that I considerably would rather watch a race around the Nürburgring GP track
I
than watch
too
the
would
actual
rather
Monaco
watch.
race.
I too would rather watch the Nürburgring GP track.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting one. I think it's a change that could possibly be made. Maybe if they bring it, but I think a better suggestion would be they bring it back in place of a different race that's kind of awful and is on the calendar for a very long time. Qatar,
Miami, that too.
Yeah. At least Miami gave us a good race this year.
Oh, don't count on it next year.
No, it's still on thin fucking ice. But
But yes, anyway, do you want to move us along to the next one?
Yes, I shall. The other one was to essentially make it a bit more silly, bit more ridiculous, and because it would probably be funnier if you replace all the cars with little Tykes cars that look like red and yellow plastic cars that you push along with your feet, and replace the drivers with short people.
That's not the word that was used, but yes.
It's not the word that was used, but it's the word I shall say.
We have media training. We know how to be sensitive.
Barely. But that was from Johan.
You are the man who was threatening to say slurs just so he cuts out a significant portion of us fucking it up earlier.
Yeah. Listen, it's a surefire way to make sure that you don't go, I can't be bothered and forget to cut something out.
All I said was that I would just let it stay in and just ruin all of your future prospects.
Yeah.
But anyway, with those in mind, thank you for those who did respond to the Instagram question, and we do put up similar things on the Instagram fairly often. So if you want to get involved with anything like that, if you want to feature in an episode at any point, then by all means, please reply to any of the story posts, put something in the comments, send us a message even. We are small enough that we can actually see your message and then reply to it, hopefully. But yes, following on from that, we decided to come up with our own suggestions of how to make the Monaco Grand Prix better. And
indeed.
Well, I say that I came up with some suggestions, but I'd like to have you read some of these with me.
Yeah, I shall happily read these out. So the problem is an awful lot of these is that you can't really change the circuit that much. So there's a lot of restrictions with it being such a historic city, and such a historic circuit. They don't really want things to change, and I know everyone tried to find things around it, such as the 2 pit stop thing, but that's not going to change anything. So what you need to do is you just need to make the cars smaller, which I understand that's already happened, but if you keep doing it more, make the cars a little bit more smaller, it could definitely improve the racing. We don't know, we'll see this year, but I still doubt there's going to be many overtakes.
Yeah.
Especially considering I don't think there's a straight line section.
There isn't. There's no sections in which the aero becomes...
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess it's probably safety concerns or something, but it's just a bit random. The next suggestion is to make the track wider, which is kind of tough when you either basically need to start encroaching on the pavement or building out into the harbour.
Oh, you don't need pedestrian walkways.
True. Yeah, I mean, people can just watch from the balconies.
Exactly.
That's where the guards can be, like the marshals. And if there's a crash, you don't need a barrier, you don't need a gap. They can just crash straight into the side of the building, It'll be fine.
Easier.
Okay.
This was my favourite one I came up with.
Yeah, next suggestion. Rebuild the track at an 150% scale in a warehouse near Luton.
Brilliant.
One, you're gonna need a big warehouse.
Oh, there's plenty.
But two, bit of an offshoot. Obviously, this is being stupid and facetious.
No.
But Would you, if you think that if you made the Monaco Grand Prix, just scale it up by 150%, do you think it would be better?
Infinitely.
Like as a race?
Infinitely.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think it'd be interesting to see. I think obviously some corners would need to be reprofiled because
it would be an actual racing track.
Yeah, it would be a bit more functional.
Yes,
as
absolutely.
A racetrack and less of a parade.
Brilliant, do it.
But it would also kind of lose a lot of the mystique in like how it's you're always this close to the wall.
She was great in X-Men.
The difficult what?
Huh?
All right, that. But I've completely lost track now. It's just throwing me off completely. What's it called? The walls, like being so close, means that the qualifying lap is so tight and technical around Monaco, and I feel like you would definitely lose that if you scaled it up. But for actual racing, it would probably become a hell of a lot better.
Brilliant. Absolute cinema. Let it happen.
Yeah.
What's the next one I've written down?
So the next one, actually the next several are all just joke ones.
No, they're not.
Written by you. So I shall quickly speed through. Have it be the only track on the calendar for all 24 races.
Brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea. Yeah. Make it a running race and remove the cars entirely.
They still have to do the mandatory pit stop though.
Yeah, it's not. I was thinking more karting. Do like a karting race.
We'll get to that at the bottom one.
Yeah, true, actually, because bottom one, make it a team sport track, which if you don't know here in Britain, that's like one of our main go-karting
in Europe now as well. We have tracks in the Netherlands, in the Netherlands and Germany. We're spanning out.
Go on, Mr. Spokesperson.
Yes.
But
I am a corporate shill.
But no, the fact that a team sport would be, if it was a karting track, honestly, I don't think that'd be bad at all. I think that'd be great fun.
That would be great fun. And if you actually watch the Monaco Kart Cup, it's actually peak.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, I swear they did like karting cups around there.
Yeah, it's great.
Is it a current thing or like?
As far as I'm aware, it's still it's like a yearly event.
Yeah, no, that doesn't shock me in the slightest.
Yes.
That'd be good fun. I feel like doing like an endurance race around there.
Read the last one.
Pretty good. Yeah. And the final one, Tyre Scobbert, is he wants to allow fans to jork it on the track.
Well, you know how like
his words, not mine.
You know how like when it's wet, it becomes more slippery and interesting.
Why did I decide to start a podcast with you?
This is the professional insight that you don't get from fucking P1 with Matt and Tommy.
Yeah, there's God
frauds.
No, you know what we should do even better than that and make it more interesting. Coat the entire circuit in olive oil, and it becomes a demolition derby of who can last the longest.
Brilliant. And then coat all the drivers in baby oil as well.
Yeah.
No race suit.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But,
no race suit.
Regardless, this has been a thoroughly ridiculous and stupid section of the podcast. This has just been.
I've got a really fucked up mental image right now. This
has just been completely derailed. This entire episode has become very derailed, but I can't be bothered to re-record it. Now, I think that's kind of everything Monaco history-wise.
You're invited to the Hadjar party.
Shall we move on to the other series discussions? And I'll let you open up with this one.
Yes, so if you don't know, around here we don't just watch Formula One, we like to go into a bit of a... we like to... I don't know what happened there. We like to get into the other motorsport series that we watch. And we each bring to the table a few different ones that the other might not necessarily watch, or at least not to the same extent. And one of those for me is NASCAR. And I every week I mention the Cup Series. And this week is no different, because the other day we had the Cracker Barrel 400 at Nashville Superspeedway. which was won by my boy Denny Hamlin. Finally, again. It didn't look good early after he started at the front, but he got penalised for jumping the start, which dropped him back for a good portion of the race. Not that he was ever out of the question, but by the end, he was not on course to win. You know, most commentators and pundits didn't have him pegged for it. But however, after the final of 11 cautions, Denny managed to get a great restart, beating his Joe Gibbs Racing teammates to the finish line. He actually only finished a tenth ahead of his teammate Christopher Bell, who, for the second race in a row, had victory within grasp and then was unfortunately pipped at the last minute. So not a great record to be establishing for him, but at the same time, I can't feel bad because I am a Hamlin fan. I mean, it was 3 wide at the end, which made for quite an exciting spectacle on the end. And it summed up a sort of great chaotic race very well. And what's more interesting about it is it has finally reduced Tyler Reddick's point lead to below 100, which definitely means things are heating up. So be sure to tune in to the next race at Michigan this Sunday.
Fair enough. All right.
Suddenly smells very strongly of Vaseline in here.
No. Right. Now, moving on. I'm going to be covering MotoGP. It was a Grand Prix of Italy this weekend gone at Mugello, and it's had Aprilia in high form all weekend. The sprint race was won by Raul Fernandez with a fantastic start, taking the lead on lap 1 and ended up winning his first sprint. Brilliant from...
I actually saw that result as well.
Yeah.
Great from him. And obviously he had the Carl Busch tribute sticker as well, which was a nice touch.
Which was very, very cool. And it's very, very good of him to do so.
Yeah.
Diogo Moreira getting all the way up into P3, which was fantastic in the early laps. Brilliant from the rookie. And Bezzecchi struggling once again in the sprints compared to Martin, which it's going to do him in for the championship. With it being so tight between the two of them, every point matters. And when you're fumbling around in the sprint races, those are points you're going to be bleeding to Martin. But he did make up for it, though. The main Grand Prix was won by Bezzecchi, or whatever.
Hey, you watch this sport.
Oh, it's been a day. It's been a day.
Oh, what a day.
But however, due to it being Mugello, Pecco Bagnaia managed to get up to the lead and led over half of the Grand Prix. But with it being Pecco Bagnaia, he then dropped like a stone after losing pace and only just managed to cling on to P3 against charging Ayagura, who absolutely was flying at the end of the race and ended up only being about a tenth behind Bagnaia at the end, so close to getting himself a second podium of the season. Another interesting thing was that the battling between Pedro Acosta and Marc Marquez, and also Fermin Aldeguer, but more importantly Acosta and Marquez, is possibly a teaser for next year, as there are contract rumours swirling around that Acosta has signed for Ducati to replace Bagnaia. But the championship tightened up. Bezzecchi still leads, but it's going to be close between him and Martin for who takes the championship. Perfect. Right, the next two are a little bit shorter because I didn't actually get to watch these as much.
Yes.
We've both been quite busy this week.
No.
Kind of, if you couldn't tell by this episode's slight rushedness, and then
no, not ever.
How chaotic this has been.
No.
And then the follow-up of these two, we haven't managed to actually fully watch them. So first I'm going to start with Rally Japan. It was won by Elvin Evans. It was a complete TGR sweep on the whole, besides Solberg, who was up front challenging Evans, but a mistake on the Saturday dropped him down, putting him out of contention. So it let Evans absolutely just run away with it. And both the other two TGRs of Ogier and Sami Pajari taking the other two podium positions. Pajari on an absolute worlder of a streak for like his second full season. He's on there's been podium every single race or every single rally apart from 2. One he got 7th, one he retired. Like, he's easily got the most podiums this season.
Yeah.
And holding 4th, I think it is. Not bad at all. Other good thing, it was good to see both the M Sports actually getting points, with both Josh McCurlin and John Armstrong in the top 10, which was nice for a change, considering they're not always the most consistent and quite often overtaken by WRC 2 drivers.
God.
But regardless, decent rally all round. It's a shame I couldn't watch it because Rally Japan is usually one of the best of the year. He has some fantastic stages.
I didn't even get to watch highlights or anything for that one.
No, I only got to watch little highlights from it.
Yeah, but what both of us only watched highlights for was the IndyCar with the Detroit GP, which was won by Alex Palou. Who saw that coming? But yeah,
shock horror.
Yeah, I mean, it was less characterized by Palou dominance, because to be fair, it wasn't really Palou dominance for most of the race.
It was chopping and changing.
It was an awful lot. Actual shifting, yeah.
But power led for an awful lot.
I was about to say Lundgaard as well.
But, yeah.
What's mostly kind of the takeaway from that is actual terrorism on the track. I can recall just before we were planning this, before we started recording, we were both watching the highlights together, and basically in unison, we both thought, "Oh, Mick Schumacher's finally doing pretty good. He seems to have gotten comfortable.
He's up in 3rd. He's doing brilliant. And then, what's going on?"
And then with Malukas alongside, he just drives straight. He outbrakes himself and just doesn't turn, which forces Malukas to not have to be able to turn while he's on the outside, which drops both of them right to the back.
Right down the back. It's ridiculous.
It's not
good, there was the crash from Power as well.
Yeah, when Power got taken out, that was shocking.
Yeah, and Grosjean as well.
Also taken out.
Which, yeah, there's been a lot of terrorism around Detroit at the moment for the racing. And it's all been a bit of chaos. GP. Yeah, which ended up leaving Palou to win, with Cole Kirkwood taking 2nd and Graham Rahal getting his 3rd podium of the season. Absolutely having a bit of a worldie so far.
Yeah, not bad for him.
It's not bad at all.
At least some people are doing all right. But with all that said, that's the other series that we have to discuss this week.
Yeah. Do you want to briefly discuss your karting or?
Oh yes, of course. I would say for those who know, but no one really would know. I'm part of a karting team, and we just had a race event yesterday, and it went horrifically. I don't think it could have gone any worse. It was obviously a rental karting endurance race, and obviously rental karting is a bit of a lottery. In spite of however many times the marshals tell you, all the karts are the same, we all know they're not. But we did not expect to be given dreadful kart after dreadful kart, because in the practice qualifying, you're permitted to swap your kart once if you want to, which we did, because our kart was shit, and we got one that was also shit. So we used our final swap before the race start to have something else, which turned out to be the worst one we'd used thus far. It was 2 seconds down on the pace, which meant that even though we started P5, I mean, I got taken out on the first lap and dropped all the way to the back anyway, but we were just stone dead last by lap 2. And then we swapped we weren't supposed to be able to swap the kart again. That was supposed to be it. But after that, they realised that they probably shouldn't have put that kart in the fleet anyway and let us have another one, which was not much better. But by that point, we really didn't care that much. A lot of us were already just thinking about genuinely just DNFing from the race, because it was a lot of effort for, obviously, a whole lot of nothing in the end. So, a little bit of a shame, but we've got... there is a bright side to it. We've got a lot of exciting things to look forward to. New sponsorship, new gear soon as well. So, it's a good time, and if you want to follow this journey of mine and the others, then go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Scuderia Custard Racing Team.
Indeed. Now, moving on from that last little section, before we wrap up this episode. We've just got the predictions for the Monaco Grand Prix. Basically, every week in the episode before a race, we do our predictions. We've got 4 categories. The race winner, so who's going to take the victory. Race spinner, who's going to have an awful time for the weekend. Flop of the tops, so who in the top team is going to have the worst result. And then the wild card prediction, which is something a little bit out there, but nothing too ridiculously crazy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, race winner. Who have we predicted for that then?
Well, I have gone for race winner. I've gone a little bit out there this time, actually.
I see that.
I think it's going to be Lewis Hamilton. There's just a slight hunt. Hamilton has been on pretty good form as of late for Ferrari, and I thought for the last several years, Mercedes have always been bad around Monaco, from memory.
Right.
They've always fell to the wayside since the new regulations, and I don't think it's going to have changed much for this year. There's a possibility, but also once again, Antonelli is not going to be particularly there's very high chance he could crash into a wall. Same with Russell, 2 quite crash-prone drivers at times around Monaco. It would not surprise me if they put each other or themselves into the wall. And with Ferrari having good form at the moment and usually wanting to bring upgrades and a good car for 2 races of the year, which is Monaco and Italy. I think that Hamilton, as much as I love Charles Leclerc, he's my boy, he's my favourite driver, I think Hamilton might actually have it this weekend and get that win with Ferrari, and what a place to do it.
Okay. I don't think that's going to happen. For me, I have predicted, also not a Mercedes driver, but I've gone for Oscar Piastri. Now, the McLarens have obviously, a fair bit's been made about them having improved their pace as of late in the current season, and I think, like you say, with the Mercs being historically not as strong around Monaco generally, and Ferrari finding infinite ways to fuck about, I think it's entirely likely that we're going to see Oscar Piastri take that W. The reason I think Piastri over Norris, it's more of a gut feeling than anything else. Obviously, Norris is, the most recent Monaco Grand Prix winner as of right now until we get to the race. So he's obviously got what it takes to win. But I don't know. I just get the feeling that we're going to see an Oscar Piastri masterclass, show us why he was, the person that everyone was putting the safe money on to win the championship last year. And I think if he wants to put his hat in the ring at all, this is a great place to start.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. Now, race binner.
Oh, you bastard.
So, for the race binner, I think it's going to be
Fuck you.
Fernando Alonso.
Fuck you.
And I don't think it's going to be his fault.
Okay.
Is the thing. I think it's going to be
I'm appeased.
The Aston is so horrific around Monaco. That it's going to just be the worst possible weekend from him. Bottom of the pack in quali, besides maybe Stroll. And then retirement from the race from some ridiculous mechanical issue. I just think it's going to be an awful weekend for him. Nothing but vibes, but I don't think it's going to be his fault. Alright, who have you gone for?
Well, I have put race spinner as Esteban Ocon. Now, we spoke about Ocon, I believe, either last episode or the episode before, when discussing the drivers on the grid next season. And we both think that Ocon is under a considerable amount of pressure at the moment. He's currently being outperformed in almost every single way by his much younger teammate. It's unlikely that he's going to, stick around. I mean, the team themselves have said that there's no tension between them, and Ocon. But at the same time, it feels slightly dubious to make that comment when you've actually had to put out a media statement about it. So I think Ocon is going to sense that he needs to start picking it up, and that's going to lead him to make some sort of silly mistake. And obviously, Monaco is quite literally the easiest track to make a silly mistake on. So I can see that ruining his race. Whether he obviously, actually crashes out and DNFs or simply puts himself to the back by having to get a new front wing or something, that's by the by. But, that's my prediction at least for it.
No, that's very fair. I think that's reasonable. Right. Now, for flop of the tops, who have you gone for?
I have, not to piss in your cornflakes, but Lewis Hamilton is going to flop.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah, so once again, it's more of a gut feeling than anything else, but I just get the impression that there's just something in the water, I guess. I just don't see Hamilton having a good race weekend, whether it's, not doing well in qualifying or whatnot. Hamilton has always been pretty good in Monaco qualifying, but I would never say he was the best in Monaco qualifying. And I don't think, that's going to be reflective in his qualifying session. And then, with that in mind, I don't think he's going to win. Not to say that yes to say I think he's going to have a bad race, because I think all manner of terrible things could happen. But just to dispute your point, at least. But yeah, I think quite the other way, and I think it's going to be a bad weekend. I can't really, like I say, it's more of a gut instinct feeling than anything else, so I can't really specify as to why, but I just know. I've locked it in.
Yeah. Right. I have gone for Kimi Antonelli for my.
That was the other pick I was going to go for.
Yeah, I think that after this fantastic run of wins, I think he's going to have a flop, and it's going to be a bad one. Whether he just the Merc just struggles to perform in quali around Monaco, or he crashes out or collides with Russell, anything like that. I just think it's not going to go well for him. Anything could happen. It's entirely possible that he just takes pole, storms to a victory, but anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
all right.
To round things out, why don't you give us your wild card prediction here?
Yeah, finally, wild card prediction. I think that there will be slight improvement in the racing. I think there will be at least 10 overtakes.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot for Monaco. And what have you gone for?
I have suggested that there will be 3 different teams on the podium. So a driver from a different team for each of them. There'll be only one Ferrari if there's a Ferrari, only one Merc if there's a Merc, only one McLaren if there's a McLaren. No 2 drivers from the same team will stand on the podium together. And that's
fair enough. I think that's
rounds things out.
Yeah. And I believe that is everything for this episode. We have
thank God
gone through the scuffed history of Monaco Grand Prix in a very non-serious way. Apologies if you're expecting something a bit more professional from us.
That was professional analysis. Don't get it twisted.
This has been the most shambolic recording we have ever done.
No, how dare you?
But it's a recording nonetheless.
It is a recording of all time.
It is one of the recordings of all time. But that's about everything. We shall be back next week for a review on the actual Monaco GP, see how it goes. There's a chance as well, a pretty decent chance, that it's going to be an in-person one, so audio may be slightly different.
Yes, it'll be more shit.
It'll be different, and we'll possibly be drinking because Monaco's quite boring. But no, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yes.
But regardless, we hope you join us for the next episodes. If you haven't followed us on social medias and you've enjoyed this episode, then please do on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, where we'll be doing posts and things like on our story for questions for these episodes, things of that kind of nature. And also the Twitter, though that's currently not particularly active, though we are trying to get back into sorting that out.
Yes.
But thank you for listening all the way through to the end. It's very much appreciated. And any support you guys can provide, we are very appreciative of.
Indeed. So,
No.
with all that said, well, thank you very much for listening. Please do tune in next week. And it's a goodbye from yours truly.
And a goodbye from yours untruly.
Ooh.
Or Yarno truly.